There's a moment when you are sitting in a meeting or at dinner with your partner, and someone says something small that shouldn't matter this much. A joke, a comment, a tiny hint of criticism. On the outside, you keep your face neutral. Maybe you even smile. But inside, something tightens. Your shoulders go rigid. Your stomach drops. Your chest feels heavy, like someone just quietly closed a door from the inside. Your mind starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Are they angry with me? Why does this feel so familiar? Later, you tell yourself you're being too sensitive. You replay the scene again and again, trying to find the moment you messed up. You might apologize for things that weren't actually wrong or over-explain yourself just to feel safe again. It looks like a small reaction to a small moment, but it doesn't feel small. It feels old. It feels like a bruise that has been there for years and someone just pressed on it again without knowing. That quiet ache, that strong reaction to things other people would shrug off, that's where psychological wounds often live. They don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper, "You're not safe," even when the present moment is not actually dangerous. Someone goes through their day looking put together. They answer emails, make jokes with colleagues, and post a smiling photo on social media. On the surface, nothing looks wrong. But in their romantic relationship, they keep choosing people who pull away when things get close. When a partner doesn't text back for a few hours, their chest burns with anxiety. They stare at their phone thinking, "Of course, I'm too much." They always leave. At work, they can't tolerate even gentle feedback. A simple, "Can you adjust this next time?" feels like you're failing, you're a problem. So they either overwork to prove themselves or emotionally shut down and withdraw. In their family, they play the role that has always been expected, the responsible one, the peacekeeper, the one who never brings up their own needs. At gatherings, they help, they listen, they nod, and later, on the way home, they feel hollow and strangely invisible. When they are alone, the noise inside gets louder. I'm too emotional. I should be over this by now. What's wrong with me that I still react this way? On the outside, they might look successful, capable, fine. On the inside, there is a constant tension between who they think they are supposed to be and the parts of them that still hurt. These are psychological wounds, not visible scars, but deep patterns of pain that show up in relationships, at work, with family, and in the way someone speaks to themselves when no one else can hear. Psychological wounds don't start in adulthood. They usually begin quietly, in ordinary moments that seemed normal at the time. A girl learns that when she cries, the adults in her life roll their eyes and tell her, "Stop being dramatic." So she starts to swallow her tears. She learns to smile and say, "I'm fine," even when she is not. As an adult, she feels uncomfortable when she has emotions. She might apologize for crying or feel ashamed for needing comfort. Her wound tells her, "Your feelings are too much. Hide them." A boy is told, "Real men don't show weakness," every time he gets scared or hurt. He begins to push down his fear and confusion, replacing them with anger or silence. As a man, he struggles to name what he feels. He might explode over small things, then feel confused and guilty later. His wound whispers, "You can't be vulnerable. It's dangerous." A child grows up in a family where love is given when they perform well, when they have good grades, when they help, when they are easy to deal with. When they are messy, sad, or needy, the room gets cold. They learn that love is something you earn by being good enough. In adulthood, they constantly prove themselves, afraid that if they stop performing, they will be rejected. Their wound repeats, "You are only worthy when you are useful." Sometimes the wound comes from more obvious events, being bullied, being humiliated, being ignored for long stretches of time, or being the one who had to grow up too early. Sometimes it comes from what never happened, the hug that didn't come, the apology that was never given, the words, "I'm proud of you," that you waited for but never heard. Over time, mind creates coping strategies to survive. These might look like people-pleasing so no one gets angry, staying quiet to avoid conflict, becoming a perfectionist to avoid criticism, numbing out with work, food, social media, or fantasy when feelings are too strong. In psychology, one way to understand this is through the idea of attachment. Attachment is about how safe and seen we felt with our early caregivers. If our early environment was unpredictable, cold, or overwhelming, we may grow up with insecure attachment, always a bit on edge, scanning for signs of rejection, or keeping distance to avoid being hurt. Another helpful idea is the inner child. This is not a literal child inside you, but a name for the younger parts of you that still carry old emotions, beliefs, and fears. When you react strongly in the present, often it's not just the adult you responding. It's the younger you saying, "This feels like back then, please protect me." So psychological wounds are not proof that someone is broken. They are the natural result of a nervous system and a mind that did their best to survive in environments that were not always kind, stable, or emotionally safe. In everyday life, psychological wounds show up in ways that can be confusing. They don't usually appear as clear, neat labels. They appear as patterns you find yourself repeating, even when you know they don't serve you. At work, maybe a manager gives you neutral feedback. Let's adjust this approach. On the surface, it's not harsh, but inside you feel a wave of shame. Your heart races, your face gets hot, and you want to disappear. You spend the rest of the day overanalyzing every word you said, convinced that they now think you're incompetent. Later, you might stay late, over-deliver, and say, "No worries, I can take that on too," just to feel safe again. The wound here is not about the single comment. It's about older memories of being criticized, shamed, or made to feel never enough. In romantic relationships, wounds can appear as pushing people away or clinging too tightly. A partner doesn't reply for a few hours. Your logical mind says they're probably busy, but your body panics, your stomach knots, your chest tightens, and your thoughts spiral. They're losing interest. I knew this would happen. You might send a series of anxious messages, or you might shut down and decide not to care too much so you won't be hurt. The reaction is intense, not because of the present moment alone, but because it echoes past experiences of inconsistency, emotional neglect, or sudden abandonment. In family dynamics, psychological wounds often keep old roles alive. You visit your parents and instantly feel like a child again. Maybe you become the peacemaker, smoothing over conflicts, laughing off hurtful comments. Or you become the invisible one, staying quiet to avoid drawing attention. Afterwards, you feel drained and confused. Why do I act like this around them when I'm different everywhere else? The old wound still dictates your behavior. This is how you stay safe here. In friendships, wounds may create distance where you secretly long for closeness. A friend cancels plans, and logically you understand, but emotionally you feel deeply rejected. So you say, "No worries at all," but decide not to share anything vulnerable with them for a while. You build invisible walls, then feel lonely inside those walls. And then there is the inner dialogue, the way you talk to yourself when something goes wrong. Instead of simple, kind self-talk like, "I made a mistake, that's okay," the wounded voice says, "You're such an idiot. Of course you messed it up. No wonder people get tired of you." Sometimes the signs are obvious, outbursts that seem too big for the situation, complete shutdown during conflict, avoiding important conversations for months. Sometimes they're subtle, a constant sense of guilt, even when you haven't done anything wrong, a feeling of emptiness after social events, a sense of being fake or like you're playing a role all the time. There's often a moment where you ask yourself, why do I keep doing this? Why does this bother me so much more than it bothers other people? That question is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that an old wound is being touched. The cost of staying stuck in these patterns is high. You may feel exhausted from overthinking every interaction. You might repeat the same relationship dynamics with different people. You can feel disconnected from your own wants, your own voice, your own body. Life starts to feel like constant managing and performing instead of actually living as yourself. It's easy to think that psychological wounds are just problems to fix, something to heal and delete so they never show up again. But what if they are not only pain, but also information? Think of anger. If you were taught that anger is bad or dangerous, you might try to suppress it completely. But anger can be a signal that a boundary has been crossed. It can show you where you feel disrespected, where something matters deeply to you. Jealousy is another example. Instead of seeing it as proof that you are petty or insecure, you can see it as a sign of desire. Jealousy can show you what you secretly want, a kind of relationship, recognition, or freedom that you haven't given yourself permission to ask for. Numbness, the sense of feeling nothing, can be a sign of overload. When the system has carried too much pain for too long, it sometimes shuts down as a last way to protect you. That doesn't mean you are broken. It means your mind and body have been working overtime to keep you safe. Psychological wounds hold valuable messages. Something important happened to me. I didn't get what I needed back then. I'm still trying to protect myself. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this part of me? You can ask, what is this part trying to tell me? The goal is not to erase your wounds or pretend they never existed. The goal is integration, bringing these hurt, younger, or scared parts into the light, listening to them, and updating them with the reality that you are not helpless anymore. Everyone carries some version of psychological wounds. No one does this work perfectly. You will still get triggered sometimes. You will still overreact, shut down, or fall into old patterns. But over time, with care and practice, you can shift from being controlled by your wounds to being in relationship with them. Let's look at some practical ways to work with psychological wounds. In daily life, think of these as small, consistent practices, not magic fixes, but gentle rewiring over time. 1. Notice your triggers like clues. Why it helps. Psychological wounds often show themselves through strong reactions to certain situations. Noticing them helps you see the pattern instead of blaming yourself. How to do it. For 1 week, pay attention to moments when your emotional reaction feels bigger than the situation. You might feel a sudden wave of shame, panic, anger, or numbness. When that happens, mentally note trigger. Later, when you have a few quiet minutes, write down what happened, just the facts. What did you feel in your body? What thoughts showed up instantly? Example, your friend takes a long time to respond to a message. You feel a knot in your stomach and think, they're tired of me. That's a clue? This might link back to earlier experiences of being ignored or dropped without explanation. What's difficult? It can be tempting to judge yourself. I'm being ridiculous. Instead, try to be curious. You're not looking for proof that you're broken, you're gathering information about where your wounds live. 2. Write what you didn't say. Why it helps. Psychological wounds often form around things you couldn't express safely in the past. Giving those words a place on the page can release tension and reveal deeper needs. How to do it. Think of a recent situation that left you hurt, angry, or small. Close your eyes and picture the scene. Then, in a notebook or on your phone, write what you wish you could have said, uncensored, just for you. You might start with, I felt, I needed, I wish you knew that. Example, your parent made a dismissive comment about your life choices. You didn't respond in the moment. Later, you write, I felt belittled. I needed respect. I wish you knew how hard I'm trying to build a life that fits me. What's difficult? You might feel guilty, like you are betraying someone by writing honestly. Remind yourself, you are not sending this. You are giving your inner world a safe place to speak, which is something it may not have had before. 3. One small boundary. Why it helps. Many psychological wounds come from not
having our boundaries respected, or from learning that we're not allowed to have any. Practicing small boundaries teaches your system that you are allowed to protect yourself now. How to do it. Choose one small area where you often say yes but feel resentment. It could be answering messages instantly, always staying late at work, or agreeing to social plans when you're exhausted. Pick one simple boundary, like, I'll reply later, not immediately. I can't stay late today. I'm not available this weekend. You don't have to give a long explanation. A short, polite sentence is enough. Example, a colleague asks you, can you take this extra task? It's urgent. In the past, your wound might say, if you say no, they'll think you're lazy. This time, you take a breath and say, I can't take that on today. My plate is full. What's difficult? Your body may react strongly. Anxiety, guilt, a sense of danger. That's your wound predicting old consequences. You can place a hand on your chest, breathe slowly, and remind yourself, I'm allowed to have limits now. I'm not that powerless child anymore. 4. 10 minutes with yourself. Why it helps. Psychological wounds are often easier to ignore when you stay busy or distracted. Short, intentional solitude helps you reconnect with your actual state instead of running from it. How to do it? Once or twice a week, set a timer for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no tasks. Just you, sitting or lying down. Ask yourself gently, what am I actually feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? You don't need to analyze deeply, just notice and name. This is sadness, or this is tightness, or this is numbness. Example, you sit on your bed for 10 minutes and realize that underneath your irritation with others, you feel lonely and scared of being a burden. That awareness alone is a step toward healing. What's difficult? Silence can feel scary at first. Your wound might say, don't stop. If you slow down, everything will come up. You can start with even 3 minutes and gradually build up. The goal isn't to feel good right away, it's to become honest with yourself. 5. One level deeper with someone safe. Why it helps.
Wounds are often formed in relationship, and they are often healed in relationship. Sharing a bit more truth with someone can soften the sense of being alone with your pain. How to do it? Think of someone who feels relatively safe, a friend, partner, therapist, or trusted person. Next time you're about to say, I'm fine, see if you can go one level deeper. Instead of, I'm okay, you might say, I'm okay, but I've been feeling really drained lately. Or, honestly, that comment earlier stung more than I wanted to admit. Example, after work, a friend asks, how was your day? You usually say, all good. This time you say, it was rough. I got some feedback that really hit an old nerve. I felt like a kid being scolded. What's difficult? You might worry about being too much or a burden. Start small. You're not telling your entire life story, just letting a bit of your real experience be seen. Over time, this can soften the wound that says, no one will accept the real me. 6. The weekly no practice. Why it helps? For many people, psychological wounds are tied to people-pleasing and fear of rejection. Practicing saying no on purpose helps your system learn that upsetting or disappointing others a little bit is survivable. How to do it? Once a week, choose one small thing to say no to, where in the past you would have said yes automatically. This could be a favor, a small request, an invitation, or even your own impulse to take on too much. Example, a friend asks, can you help me move this weekend? You like them, but you are exhausted. You say, I care about you, but this weekend I really need to rest. I can't help this time. What's difficult? Afterward, your mind may spiral. They'll be disappointed. They'll think I'm selfish. Notice these thoughts as part of the wound, not as truth. You can remind yourself, healthy relationships survive no. The ones that don't may already be imbalanced. 7. Talk to the younger you. Why it helps? Psychological wounds are often younger parts of you still stuck in past moments. Bringing compassion to those parts helps reduce shame and soften harsh self-judgment. How to do it? Think of a time in your childhood, teenage years that still hurts when you remember it. Picture that younger version of you in your mind, their face, their posture, the room they are in. Then, in your head or in writing, speak to them as the adult you are now. You might say, you weren't too much. You did your best with what you had. You shouldn't have had to go through that alone. Example, you remember being laughed at in front of the class. You picture your younger self sitting at the desk, cheeks burning. You say, you were not stupid. You were a kid learning. You deserved kindness. What's difficult? This can feel strange or even cringe at first. You might feel like you're pretending. But your nervous system responds to this kind of compassion. You are offering yourself the support you didn't receive back then, and over time, that can change how the wound feels. When you consistently practice this kind of work, life does not suddenly become perfect, but it can become more honest, more spacious, and more manageable. Over time, you may notice more ease and clarity in situations that used to overwhelm you. A delayed text still stings, but it doesn't automatically pull you into panic. You can notice, my wound is reacting. Take a breath and choose a calmer response. You gain a bit more freedom to choose how you respond instead of being dragged by automatic reactions. You might pause before saying yes to everything and ask, do I actually want this? You may recognize that your urge to overwork, to fix everyone's feelings, or to disappear in conflict are old survival strategies, not your only options. Relationships start to shift. Some deepen as you allow yourself to be more real and set healthier boundaries. People who can meet you there might feel closer,
more nourishing. Some connections fade when you stop overfunctioning or stop playing a role that kept others comfortable. That can hurt, but it can also make space for relationships where you don't have to hide your wounds to be accepted. Inside, the fear of being found out softens. You no longer feel like a fraud every time you struggle. You understand that having wounds doesn't mean you are broken, it means you are human. You can
have mixed feelings and still be worthy of love and respect. This work is not a one-time project. It's more like tending a garden. Some days you'll feel open and brave. Other days you may feel raw and tired and fall back into old reactions. That's part of it. Healing psychological wounds is less about arriving at a final destination and more about learning to walk with yourself differently, to notice when a wound is speaking, to pause, to offer yourself understanding, and to choose one slightly kinder action than before. Think back to that opening moment, the small comment in the meeting or the joke at dinner that hit too deep. In the past, you might have gone home replaying it for hours, blaming yourself, or deciding silently that you needed to be tougher and stop feeling so much. Now, with everything you've learned, the same moment looks different. You still feel the sting. Your stomach might still tighten. But instead of saying, "What's wrong with me?" you can ask, "What old story is this touching?" You might recognize that your reaction belongs not only to this day, but to years of feeling criticized or unseen. You might take a breath, place a hand on your chest, and quietly tell yourself, "Of course this hurts. It makes sense. I'm here with you." Psychological wounds stop being a mysterious curse and become a map, showing you where care is needed, where boundaries are needed, where old beliefs no longer fit the life you want to live. This doesn't mean chasing constant happiness or never getting triggered again. It means living more awake, more honest, more aligned with who you actually are rather than the roles you built just to survive. Right now, you can gently notice your own reactions, the way your body tenses around certain people, the topics that make your chest heavy, the situations that make you feel small or invisible. Instead of rushing to push it away, you can meet those reactions with curiosity. What is this trying to protect? What did I need back then that I didn't get? What small choice can I make today that supports the version of me who is healing? No dramatic overnight transformation is needed. One honest sentence, one small boundary, one moment of kindness toward a younger version of you. These are the quiet ways you stop living on autopilot and start living more as yourself. Thank you for staying with this video until the end. If this exploration of psychological wounds and healing resonated with you, you might want to subscribe for more videos on inner work, self-awareness, and emotional growth. And if you feel comfortable, share in the comments. Which part of this felt most familiar in your own life? Your story might help someone else feel less alone.